this is something that's very important because I've seen the damage it causes. And that is that when you choose your advisors or when you choose a coach, you need to be very careful about what it is that you're taking from that relationship with them. Unfortunately, the majority, and I'm happy to say this quite unreservedly, the majority of coaches, therapists, counselors, marriage counselors, whatever you have out there, the majority of them are focused on protecting the individual that they're counseling rather than focusing on raising awareness of what is that individual's contribution towards the challenges that they're facing in their life. The focus is more on creating awareness of what is right and wrong and what is acceptable and unacceptable versus creating understanding behind what it is that is playing out. I've previously posted about divorce counseling because I think it's a massively neglected area. And divorce counseling relates to pretty much at a very high, broad level. It's 3 stages that we need to be concerned about. The one is when you're contemplating divorce. The other one is when you're actually going through the divorce and you need to navigate your way through it so that you can reduce the ongoing impact of it beyond the moment of divorce. And the third one is how do you reclaim sanity and peace in your life after you've been through divorce. And the reason why it's all focused on divorce, because the one underlying current through all of that, the one thing that is consistent across the board, is that the reason you get to the point of divorce is because something has robbed you of the essence of who you are. And that something is not necessarily your partner. It could be circumstance, it could be environment, it could be extended family, it could be social structures, it could be any number of other biases that come into play that have detrimental effect. And unless you're aware of what those biases and prejudices are that are affecting your ability to be able to conduct yourself in a way that is more beneficial in your relationship, you might end up making the right decision for the wrong reasons. So coming back to the point that I wanted to emphasize in the first place about choosing your advisors. If you are speaking to a counselor or therapist that is teaching you how to cope with what it is you're going through, you're talking to the wrong person. If you're speaking to someone that is making you feel better about who you are and why it is that it's not your fault that you are where you are, you're speaking to the wrong person. If you're speaking to someone that is trying to shift blame or help you to shift blame or validates your efforts at shifting blame, you're speaking to the wrong person. And for any counselors, therapists out there that might come across this video, I want to plead with you, please, when you're advising couples or even individuals that are going through upheaval in a relationship, especially in marriage, especially when kids are involved, please do so from a position of understanding of what it is that they're dealing with rather than who they are in that moment when they present themselves to you and how it is that you want to respond to them about what it is that they need to do to protect themselves from what is happening. The only reason we end up wanting to protect ourselves is if we believe we are weak or victims or vulnerable. And that vulnerability, the belief in the vulnerability within us, is a belief that we have. If we believe we're weak, we're going to find reason to protect ourselves from an attack. And if we believe we're weak, we'll perceive more attacks than what are really actually happening to us. So we need to be careful about how we choose our advisors. And just because someone is a sincere family member who wants the best for you doesn't mean they're a good advisor. Just because someone is a good friend that they've been through everything with you through thick and thin doesn't mean that they're the best advisor within the context of the circumstance that you're trying to resolve. They can be a good emotional support structure, but they're not necessarily an advisor to tell you what is the best route forward to be able to get the best outcome. So when you're choosing your advisors, please be careful about choosing advisors that talk to your ego and talk to your sense of persecution, rather than one that is talking to what is the best outcome of the situation that you're currently faced with, while having a very clear understanding of what is the investment that has gone into that relationship up to that point from both parties, not just from your side. Because we need more sincere advisors in that regard. We keep talking about the spiraling divorce rates and the problems of abusive relationships and abusive marriages and everything else. But when people that are caught up in those dysfunctional relationships go for advice, the shocking stories that I hear consistently from people that are attending counseling and therapy in renowned institutions and in renowned counselors and coaches and therapists, people that are celebrated as being very good at what they do. The kind of stories that I get back, it's disheartening at best, because it strokes the ego of the one that is seeking help, and it enables some of the negative contributions that they make to that situation that they find themselves in, which means that all they're doing is, if they make you feel good about exiting an existing problematic relationship, and that the underlying contributing factors are not addressed, then what will happen, and it will happen, I've seen it a number of times and I've experienced it personally as well, those issues that got you to that point in your previous relationship will play out again in the next relationship. And this is why divorce counseling is so critical. If you want to break the cycle, you either break the cycle of the relationship you're in, so that you might be able to avoid the divorce and build on something that had value in the first place, or if a divorce is inevitable and it is really just a bad fit, then at least you know that you can go into a new relationship without the concern of not having the awareness of what it was that might have been your contribution towards getting to that dysfunctional state in the first place. So when you're choosing an advisor, please do it from the right perspective and with the right objective in mind. Don't do it because you want someone that's going to make you feel better about where you are, or is going to validate your struggle, or is going to validate your victimhood. They're not helping you. They're just causing more problems than anything else. And if there's kids involved, the kids always are the ones that get the bad end of the deal, because they are the ones that will then end up being pawns between the two dysfunctional adults who continue to have their power struggle after the divorce is over, and the ones that are affected by it are the kids. And no matter what you wish for, your kids having a better life than you, they will repeat the cycle that you raised them with. So I hope that's food for thought for anyone that is currently experiencing challenges in a relationship or marriage. And if you need more insight or more assistance with this, please reach out, and let's see what we can do. I'm Zaid Ismail. Assalamu alaikum.